What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 23rd, 2019. Litecoin testing our patience, building patience, I would say, in all of us. And I think it's a very good thing. I think it's a healthy thing. I think this current move for Litecoin is healthy. Right now, trading at around $90. I want to jump in. What's next for Litecoin in terms of support, in terms of moving averages, in terms of possible low for Litecoin? And before we do, I want to take a quick look at a clip from earlier in the month of July. If we go to the daily chart, we can get some context into my opinion on where Litecoin could go. So first off, important to take the bear market low to this previous swing high in the 140s, and we can chart our Fibonacci retracement, right? So right now in the daily chart, you see the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average running right in between our Fibonacci retracement channel of 618.786, right? So this channel, extremely important. If you've been watching this channel, this YouTube channel, it helps us so often in anticipating pullback. So right now we have the 618 line around $70 and the 786 around 50. That is, worst case scenario, but if you're looking to accumulate Litecoin, the best case scenario, it's probably an area where I don't think we're going to get to. I more tend to believe we're going to get into that $90 area, maybe touch into the 80s. And a lot of that plays into this possible formation in play right now in the 4-hour chart. But I truly believe there's potential for Litecoin to see some consolidation, to settle down a little bit, and to prepare itself for the next bull market. We are getting ready to enter that bull market cycle, everybody. This is just the foundation being laid, very similar to back in this area as we climbed out of that bear market and consolidated a little bit. It is preparation for this next bull market cycle. So have patience in these markets. Zoom out on the charts. Come up with a plan. So there's two main reasons I'm bringing that clip up. And it's not for me to sit here and say, look how I predicted this, or look how I predicted this drop in Litecoin. But number one is because I think there's probably some new people watching these Litecoin videos, and I really want to give you some good context into what we've been tracking and what Litecoin is doing. And number two, I really do want to illustrate and point out how well technical analysis works when you're using moving averages, you're using momentum oscillators, you're using Fibonacci retracement, and you're using historical data all at the same time. These things coincide beautifully with each other and really allow us to anticipate some volatile moves for Litecoin, in this case, a nice area of accumulation. So number one, here's the Fibonacci channel on the daily chart that you just saw on the weekly chart, right? $70 down to the $50 area. And, Fibonacci retracement areas will look a little different depending on what charts you're using. Right now, this is the Bitfinex chart that we use a lot on this channel. And going over to the weekly chart, you can see it here on the weekly. If I expand this a little bit, you'll get an idea of this Fibonacci channel, right? So here it is down here. You see the 50-week moving average, the 200-week moving average, very confluent with that pullback channel. I want to start here on the Litecoin halving back in 2015. Let's take the same exact type of Fibonacci retracement, the bear market swing low to the that huge swing high that we had, even more gains than we saw this previous cycle. We're talking, I think, over 700% gains here. But look where Litecoin retraced to. It retraced to the 618 to 786 channel, this green rectangle. Okay. Now you see the 50-week moving average. It's very confluent right with that 786 line. It was perfect support for Litecoin to consolidate down to and trade sideways above for a while. You can see it on the chart before entering the bull market. So we've been anticipating a very similar move for Litecoin. These things take patience. If you're here looking for ridiculous gains in the next couple weeks or something, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But I would really strongly urge you to kind of adopt some type of patience, a form of just sitting back, relaxing, and accumulating the dips. That's not financial advice, but that's my approach, and I think it's a really good approach if you want to hold on to your sanity in these markets. So going over to the weekly chart, again, here we are. Here's that Fibonacci channel, very similar to the last channel. The only difference is the 200 moving average at the 786 is where we see more confluence. You see that in that last Litecoin halving, the 50 moving average was where we saw that 786 line. So that's one thing. I mentioned in the video that you just saw a clip from, I don't think we're going to get down there. I still really don't think we're going to get all the way down to that area. However, you know it's possible. I know it's possible. It's an incredible, incredible discounted Litecoin to accumulate, in my opinion. Hopping over to the daily chart, here's the same long-term Fibonacci channel, right? So first things first for Litecoin. The very first thing before we get to that channel, where I'm looking to see if Litecoin holds support, is right here at the 200 moving average on the daily chart. That's an extremely important area. It's probably the second most important besides the 50 moving average up here, which we already broke at the beginning of July. We were holding nice support above it from bear market low, but we broke it at the beginning of July. Now we're trying to tell that story of getting back above it, but we're not quite there yet at all. Right now, we're really looking for support at the 200 moving average for Litecoin, this red line here. And you can see it's right above our very important long-term Fibonacci channel, $70 down to $50 area or so. So right now, $77 is that area of support that we're looking for on Litecoin. Now, if we see some support there, if we see some sideways trading, if we get there, for me, that's a very nice area to start thinking about accumulating before we get into this channel, if we get into that channel, right? That's where your own risk tolerance comes into play. You have to decide what you want to do in a situation like that. Going over to the 4-hour, we really get a sense of, on the short term, what we're looking at right now. So on the 4-hour chart, again, here's our long-term Fibonacci. And that Fibonacci is an incredibly important Fibonacci channel. And actually, that's not even the channel. Hold on a second. Let me readjust this. That's a different Fibonacci retracement. So let's take our long-term Fibonacci channel that we've been looking at on the weekly. So there it is. And you can see when we're on the 4-hour chart, you really get a sense of how close we are. That move is not that big of a move. From a price range perspective, you can see we're right around, 20, I would say 20 to 25% from touching into that retracement channel. That is a very high buy zone for me. And we're not that far. We all know 20, 25% can happen in a day's time, even less than a day's time. So on the short term, as we're trading above that, we've already gotten very close to that, dipping into the 70s, which I was more thinking dipping into the 80s. We've already dipped into the 70s. But on the very short term, we take a 4-hour Fibonacci retracement from this previous swing low into the 70s to this little run that we had above 100 again. And you see this Fibonacci channel right here, the 618 to 786. This is my very first area that I'm looking for. I want to see if Litecoin holds support. And that is right around $87 to $82. So we have this first area support that I'm looking for in the very short term, $87 to $82. And we have our second area of support around $77, a 200 moving average. These are the two areas that I am watching before we get to that very crucial swing low possibility of $70 to $50. A very high buy zone, in my opinion. Not sure we're going to get there, but I will say this. In looking at all of these things, we also want to take a look at the RSI. This is the RSI on the weekly chart. Look how healthy Litecoin has come down in terms of the weekly chart. This is, in my opinion, a very good thing. This is what we need to enter that next bull market, and it's happening. We have that incredibly crucial and important 40 line on the RSI right here, this red line going down here, and you can see anywhere below that is kind of bear market territory, right? And we've broken out of that bear market here. You can see even in the last bear market, we broke out of that 40 line there, but we consolidate back down to it, right? And that's what happened in the last halving, going into the last halving, consolidating sideways, and then, seeing swing highs into our bull market. We're looking for a very similar move for Litecoin. This is what I'm looking at on the charts right now. There's some short-term 4-hour data for you. I'm looking at 87 down to 82 right now to see if we hold support in that channel, and we'll see. Let me know how you're doing out there. I appreciate you coming by. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.